Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us here on Speed Racing Network. I'm Greg Olenek, and as always, my good buddy Brandon Domain joining me here tonight. Brandon, we're kicking off the season here in the Truck Series at Daytona International Speedway. We had a good one last night, expecting the same tonight, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Daytona never does disappoint, and you're all right. Last night we saw a fantastic race, a very different race than I think a lot of people expected. Super clean, only had that one late caution, but we saw about 4 or 5 different packs break out in that race, and if you were up front, you were very likely part of Tank Racing. See if they can recreate that tonight, as they have not one but 2 teams in the field as we kick off Season 3 here for the trucks.
Yeah, people had a hard enough time passing the Cup guys last night. Like you said, all 5 of them, even 6, counting Seth Berger, who's running as an independent. He was up there too, so if they get all 10 of their guys controlling this race, the field is going to have their work cut out for them. But Brandon, we've been off for a little bit now, and lots happened in the offseason, so let's give all of the viewers out there a chance to catch up on what they've possibly missed here. Well, how about that, Brandon? I made a nice little snazzy newspaper package to kind of catch people up, and man, a lot's happened. We've crowned 3 new champions, gone to a new car here in the Cup Series this season, and got a little bit of a new looking booth up here as well.
Yeah, a whole lot new. Got new cars, new booth. Going to see some new tracks here this season as well, and a new way that we're doing business with these drivers and how we're kind of sorting out the field. So a whole lot of changes here as we change that calendar over from 2021 to 2022 to kick off Season 3.
Yeah, and a lot of new. You mentioned we got some new sponsors on board with some usual ones that have stayed with us through and through. Silverback Tax Solutions going to sponsor the Green Flag. Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing going to handle the Rec Replay, which didn't get a lot of action last night. Butt Kicker sponsoring the at most average positions gained, so essentially your hard charger through the season, and TJ's Team Foundation coming on board to sponsor the winning moment. A really cool partnership there with TJ's team.
Yeah, and they had a nice long winning moment there with that long celebration that we saw with Devin Zimmerman picking up his first SRN win and really soaking that in with the rest of the team that put on such a fantastic performance. But TJ's team, happy to have them on board, know that they do a lot of great work in helping families, and you see it there, www.morethanacape.org, to kind of donate or even just look up more information on TJ's team.
Yeah, that'll do a lot for these families. Just anything helps, whether it's just spreading the word or giving a little cash in the process. But also on board, like we mentioned, Butt Kicker going to hand out a game or two, like I said, to the hard charger throughout the season, the most average positions gained. And we had some hard chargers last night. Expect to see the same tonight.
Yeah, we saw a lot of movement through the field. Couple guys nearing about a plus 20, if not a little bit higher over the course of that race. Can definitely see that here at a track like this. If they have a big wreck and somebody survives it that came from the back, they're a front runner to pick up this butt kicker. And I just love saying the term butt radar, and that's what that gives you. And we get to say it again here this season.
Yeah, not only racing for that, but they're going to go ahead and race for some cash here tonight, too. We mentioned that first place in each series going to be racing for $30, so that's what they're going for tonight here at Daytona. Second going to get $20, and third through fifth getting that $10 back. But the big prize, Brandon, is that money on the right side there.
Oh, yeah, and here in the trucks, they like this new format because that number has gone up considerably from last season. Now $500 for the champion at the end of the season. 300, 180, 120, and 80 will go to the rest of the championship 5 that make it to our season finale in Homestead. And then 6th, 7th, and 8th, just like last year, they'll be walking away with cash as well.
Yeah, so big money on the line week in and week out, as well as throughout the season. You're going to have to put yourself in a position to make it to these playoffs and race for that prize. But, Brandon, we're here in Daytona Beach, Florida. The field is getting gridded up, and the results here are Sean Jensick going to be starting on the pole for Rev Racing, and your new teammate in Striker Motorsports, Andrew Harris, going to be the outside pole.
Yeah, they will be the front row as we see it now, but we can cover this here in a second as well. That's actually going to be row 2 because of the duels that we had last week. As we look at it, though, on this grid, third fastest qualifier, Lucas Lyons, who's actually very fast out there, and he'll be in the third spot. He won one of the duels in the Xfinity Series. Lane Doyle had couple top 5 finishes in those duels. He'll be starting in the 4th position with Michael Madden and Nick Helda making up row 3.
Yeah, so going to come 7th in the qualifying standings. Like you said, that's going to be Nathan Nixon for Rev Racing. He is back in the Truck Series after dabbling a little bit in the Xfinity Series last year. He said he wanted another stab at that Truck Championship, so he is back. And we got a newcomer here with a new team, that kind of satellite team for for tank racing, going to be Dark Tank Racing, and that's Ben Park in the 8th position here. And then Bobby Anderson in 9th. Mike Mosby going to round out the top 10 in this qualifying order.
And then we'll be row 7 once we take the green flag. It'll be Bruce Amston for Tank Racing and another new face for Striker Motorsports, Brad Herman. Got to tell you, and I'm very familiar with what's going on with Striker, but a lot of new faces this season and a lot of guys that have spent time up front in some of these races in the past couple seasons as well.
Yeah, so we're going to have a new front row once this thing shakes out with the duels. Brandon, who are those 2 dual winners? I know one of them being Jonathan Byer. Who is going to be our pole sitter here tonight? You said someone's going to be moving up.
Yeah, so it's going to be Jonathan Byer who won duel number 1. Duel number 2, the winner was Ryan Johnson. So as they get ready to take the green flag, you're going to see Jonathan Byer in that 66 that we're very familiar with over the past couple seasons. Tremendous season last year for him and the rest of the team. He'll be moving up to the inside of the front row behind that pace car, and then the 48 of Ryan Johnson will be joining him, making up the outside of that front row as he won the second duel in what was a wild finish with about 4 wide racing coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, you take a look there. There's Ryan Johnson for JW Racing. Really going to be easy to identify them on the track. They're just controlling numbers 45 through 50 essentially, so going to be easy to find where they're at. But let's go ahead as we get this formation lap underway and head back up front. All right, Brandon, it is our favorite time in this whole time of events that we're going to be going through here. Who do you got tonight?
Well, it's our favorite. Might not necessarily be some of the drivers' favorites because there's a whole lot of curse talk that's been going on. But I'm going to go with consistency. And we had those 2 dual races. And in the top 5 in each of them was Lane Doyle, who wound up being one of our faster qualifiers as well. Shown real proficiency around the track. He was in the hunt in both Duel 1 and Duel 2. I think he will be again tonight.
All right, I like that pick, and I'm going to go ahead and take one that we just talked about. The guy that won duel number 1 is going to be Jonathan Byer, and why not go with Mr. Consistency himself? He is always running up towards the front of these races, ended up finding himself in first last week in the duels, and is now going to find himself sitting first on the grid as he pulls around each and every one of these drivers as kind of a victory lap in of itself, and now finds himself on the front of this pack.
And I think they did it quick enough. We might not extend this caution. We might be going green flag racing this time by. I see those pace car lights are off, and here we go. Season 3 ready to kick off for the trucks.
Yes, sir. The green flag is coming out. The Silverback Tax Solutions green flag is out here at Daytona for the first time, and we are underway for the SRN Truck Series Season 3. Oh, it sounds good, doesn't it, Brandon? It feels good to be back here in the booth with you and back down here in Daytona Beach, Florida, because who does not love some good old super speedway racing?
It's always nerve-wracking if you're behind the wheel because it can all go wrong at any second. But these guys sorting it out pretty well, looking like a high-speed pace lap. Not a whole lot of movement going, but we did see before going into turn 1, Andrew Harris made a big cut move down from the outside line to the inside line. That was to get ahead of his new teammate, Lucas Lyons, to try to set up that partnership there.
Yeah, so he has gotten down in front. Ryan Johnson. We got a lot of Johnsons in the field this year. I'm going to get them down as we are cycling through these cameras, so excuse me. But Ryan Johnson going to be out in front of Jonathan Byer now. He settles down as the second car on that inside line, and you instantly see 3 drivers from Revved Racing go down to the inside, and I think they have shown their cards. They're going to go to the back and just kind of ride this thing out.
Yeah, and that's going to be Nixon, Madden, and Jensick, all 3 very successful over the past couple of seasons here in SRN in the Truck Series. And that's a motive of racing around here that we see a lot of guys do. You know, we saw a very clean race last night that almost bit everybody until that late caution. But these truck guys thinking, you know what, we've yet to see that happen in the Truck Series, kind of banking on some cautions here, and they're going to sit back and let that all play out in front of them.
Well, Johnson battling his teammate there on the outside. We got 3 JW Racing trucks up in the top 4. They're trying to do exactly what Tank Racing did last night and kind of try to control this thing from the get-go. While everybody else seems to be going to the back, they're going to the front. Whoa, big moment from Jonathan Byer there. He saves it as he almost got right into the outside or the inside door of that 47.
Well, and this is something that JW Racing did in the Xfinity side of the duels, where once they got 3 or 4 cars up in the top 4 or 5 cars out on that Xfinity side, they started to go 2 wide, 2 by 2 if they could do that, and really try to control the race and block any run that was going on, where they were sitting in those 1 to 4 positions, and it was incredibly difficult to break that up. It was myself, Tyler Murray, a couple of other guys that were somewhat in that mix, all fighting late in that race to really try to break that up. It was difficult. It can be done, but you got to be aggressive to make that happen.
Yeah, you see these 5 guys, and Jonathan Byer just going to get out of it really here and kind of give them even more control. You got Dean Gagliano out there in the 45, Trevor Williams in the 46, Lane Doyle, your pick, in the 47, who's now in the lead of this race, Ryan Johnson in the 48, and Nick Halda in the 49, and all of them are heading towards the front.
And it almost looks like all 4 of the top 4 are JW Racing, but that's actually going to be Andrew Harris with a very similar paint scheme there on the inside and the second row sitting behind the 40. Wow, this is going to be tough to tell these trucks apart.
It's pretty much if your truck is white, you're going up front.
Yeah, the 48 on the inside of Ryan Johnson. That's Andrew Harris behind him. He's missing a number. We'll need to talk to him, I think. But, yeah, that's a tough thing to do. Now, what Andrew Harris has to do in this position to try to break this up, even though it is early, just to kind of get that push and show JW Racing that strategy might not work the entire way. He's got to get enough of a run to try to cut up on the outside and get in front of that 47. The problem is the 48's the one that's controlling any kind of run he can get, and unless he gives him that full truck length to be able to squeeze in on the outside, that's just not going to happen. If he's got good communication with his teammate, and I'm assuming that they are with the strategy, the 48 and the 47 are not going to allow that gap to build between them and let anybody else break this up.
Be really dominating performance if they can pull this off and just control this race from the get-go. But we're going to see there's a lot of racing left as we cross the stripe to take lap 6 this time. That means we still have 55 circuits around this 2.5-mile super speedway to go. And I have to imagine people are going to lose their patience after a while if they just continue to stay up front. Looking at someone taking it outside now in that black and red truck, I believe That is the 18 there of Bobby Anderson, so he's trying to get some help and maybe move up to the front, but just got to keep it in my memory bank, Brandon, that the car with no number out there is Andrew Harris, so we're just going to keep that in mind.
Yeah, he's the one with no number, and the one with no partners right now is Bobby Anderson, but really trying to make that high line work. Problem for him is if he starts getting momentum, watch the 49 there, Nick Helda, who's also in that JW Racing stable, and he's actually kind of hinting at it right now. If Anderson got more of a run, he was going to go up there and just control all 3 lanes for JW Racing.
Oh, man, this is going to be interesting to see if it works out for these guys at JW Racing. But yeah, a lot of the field starting to break up a little bit. It's pretty much this pack on back, and then we got Jonathan Byer back here with Blair Holloman just in front of him, followed by Austin Purnell. And I mean, it just goes all the way back. You just keep going on back, and it's just a long train of single file trucks back here just waiting for that big one.
And also, they're not in a bad position even where they are right now, because they're all close enough to sniff the draft in front of them and really get a big pull and catch right back up. As you see Rob Yost leading a line here on the outside, starting to pull up. Maybe they thought they were getting a little bit too far back there, but everybody really starting to just they can sit there and say, you know what, I'm within a quarter second or 3/4 of a second or so. I can still pull myself right back up there without a problem. Where they are is not a problem at all this early in the race.
No, it's never a bad idea. That's usually the go-to plan for myself, is to just kind of stay in the back and wait for that big one as we see some 3-wide racing up to the front. Bobby Anderson doesn't need any help. He's just doing it himself with the side draft, and so far it's working to see if he can get up to this front car controlling that outside lane. That's Lane Doyle in the 47. See if he can get to the side of him and maybe get a little side draft and maybe get in front of him. But just as I say that, the 49 is able to clear the 18, and he drops in behind.
Well, and for Bobby Anderson, he can utilize the side draft to do that, but I think the other part of that, too, is with trying to control both those lanes and trying not to let Andrew Harris on the inside and Lucas Lyons kind of team up and break that line apart, they're having to kind of game this a little bit where they kind of hold pace with each other. Talking about the 48 and the 47, Johnson and Doyle, who are leading those 2 lines. By doing that, they might be fluctuating the throttle a little bit or maybe trail braking just a touch to try to stay within that. So by doing that, they're not going full pace. Bobby Anderson, if he gets enough of a run, holds that thing full throttle, he can get a run even without even thinking about the side draft.
I'm really surprised to see Andrew Harris not taking the opportunity that he had there for a split second to maybe jump in front of the 47. Had him clear, I believe, for a tiny moment, but then that just gets closed right back up for the 47, Lane Doyle, and he is back up to the side of that 48, his teammate there with Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, a little surprised myself. Not sure if maybe just spotter didn't clear him in time, or if he's got an automated spotter, maybe just didn't sense that it was clear, or he was possibly waiting on Lucas Lyons to see if he could get clear as well, and they can stay teamed up there on that inside, drifted up to the outside, and start controlling the race from their own aspect for Stryker.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout-out to Lucas Lyons. He asked me to give his paint scheme a little love, throwing a birthday wish out to Haley Schaefer, it looks like, there on the hood. Happy 22nd birthday, Haley. Lucas going to try and bring it home for you in Victory Lane at Daytona Beach, Florida.
Hey, might be a very good message. We might hear from him later based on what we saw on the Xfinity side in the duels, as he won that first one and was in contention until late in the second one when we had a couple accidents there closing out that race. But he's been showing some great speed both in the truck and in the Xfinity side here this week.
Yeah, Lucas always one of those guys that's running up towards the front but trying his hardest to get up to the front of this one. Like you said, I think JW came with a plan, and it seems to be paying off here as we're already 10 laps done and completed in this race, and not much has changed since the drop of the green flag. These guys just dominating absolutely everybody so far, but rounding out your top 10 going to be Johnson, Doyle, Harris, Halda, Lucas Lyons, Bobby Anderson, Mike Mosby as he gets past there by Trevor Williams, Joaquin Meza, and Troy Techmeyer there in the 32. So some new names to the league, but some familiar ones that we're used to seeing as well.
Yeah, I was looking at that list as we were getting ready for the broadcast, and it felt like about 3/4 of the league, names that we're very familiar with, but we're seeing about 1/4 of the league, all either new additions or maybe names that we saw in the past, but making a return here to SRN. Always good to see that as well. So we're seeing a whole mix of people that we kind of get that feel from the Rat Pack races that we were covering here over the offseason, where it's just a lot of guys we might not be familiar with, but we quickly learn how skilled these drivers are.
Absolutely. They are certainly skilled no matter what series you are in. That's kind of why we wanted to even it up as far as the payout goes. Each series is going to be racing for the same thing every day. But that's not one of the only changes we're seeing here in SRN this year. They changed the fuel load as well. We're used to the 70% fuel load from prior seasons, but going to race with a 75% fuel load, so that could change some things up as far as the strategy goes. That can get you a few more laps here at Daytona.
It absolutely can, and these trucks aren't going to get the fuel mileage that we saw for the Cup guys last night because they're a lot more of a brick compared aerodynamically. They're just going to have to punch a bigger hole in the air, especially when you're out front. So this is possibly going to be a two-stop race. Even at the 60-lap difference, there could be some guys maybe able to stretch this out to a one-stopper if it was to go green the entire way, but that won't be the case, and this might be why some of these guys are being very patient and letting the JW guys just continue to lead the way. They're burning the most fuel by leading those trains, and they are going to be forcing themselves into that two-stop strategy.
Yeah, that's always something to consider when you want to be that lead truck. You're going to get put on different fuel strategies. You're burning up, like you said, a lot more fuel. But some of the rules that we are not familiar with here in the Truck Series, Brandon, last year they had a faster pair. That's not going to be the case here in the Truck Series, as well as the other two series, the Xfinity and Cup Series. So no faster pairs, as well as an incident limit, which I think has really helped clean a lot of the racing up here at SRN to start this season. Like you said, we only saw one caution last night, and looking like we might be on the same track here tonight for the Truck Series.
Yeah, I really like both those additions. I think it's going to lead to much cleaner racing, especially the fast repair, I think, is going to be the biggest one. Just because you got to maintain your equipment now more than ever. You don't have that mulligan in your back pocket, and it's very dangerous around tracks like Daytona, like a Talladega that we'll have later this season, because anything can happen at any given moment there, and you can get caught in something, and it's disappointing when that happens. But over the course of the rest of the season, the other 18 races, I think that is going to promote some fantastic racing and a lot of long-term thoughts for these drivers behind the wheel.
Yeah, you can't just go crazy and have that faster pair in your back pocket. You got to take good care of the truck all the way to the end of this thing, which is why I think we're seeing a lot of respectful racing to start. Now crossing the stripe to cross the 25% way done of this race. So ticking them off fast here as we are flying around this track under green flag conditions.
Super quick race as we continue to stay green, and I think the incident limit and the loss of the fast repair, which everybody in the Xfinity and the Cup side the past couple seasons are just thinking like, yeah, feel our pain, but I think that's kind of leading also to kind of helping out these JW guys right now with this team strategy that they have of really just controlling both lanes. I don't think anybody's going to be super aggressive right now, especially this early. I think if this is the same scenario that we're seeing in another 30, 35 laps, I think you're going to start seeing guys like Andrew Harris, like Bobby Anderson, some of those guys that are in this mix, they're going to start throwing out some big haymakers out there to try to move these guys out of the way. Yeah,
you've run so many laps behind the same person and beside the same person. You're getting more and more comfortable out there with these guys, which is good for all the drivers out there to do. So it's kind of working well in a lot of manners out here as we see this thing continue to stay green. But Brandon, you mentioned the upcoming season. It's going to be a good one with these, lack of faster pairs, you could say, for these trucks. Let's go ahead and check out that upcoming schedule that we have here for the Truck Series. And we're going to be in Phoenix in 2 weeks. We're going to skip next week for the iRacing build week. It always kind of messes up some of the races that we have if it's on the same week, so we've decided to take that week off. Then going to Atlanta, your hometown, Brandon, where you live right now. That better be a track that you win at. But
I'll take it anywhere, but Atlanta would be a nice touch.
Hey, I expect to see big things, so we'll see how that goes on March 22nd to the 24th. Then we're going to be at the Circuit of the Americas, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. Just got back from Vegas, and we had a connection flight in Austin, and we flew right over COTA. It was such a beautiful facility. Now I want to go there even more and see these guys run around there. But we're going to be there March 29th to the 31st, and then something new for everybody. Going to be Twin Rings out in Motegi, Japan. That's going to be a big monkey wrench in this schedule, so definitely tune in then for April 5th through 7th, and then we'll be at Pocono for Week 6 action, April 12th to the 14th. What's sticking out to you the most, Brandon?
Man, I just love the chaos that we might be throwing in there for some of these guys. A lot of tracks that people don't necessarily enjoy spending time on, and a couple tracks that some of these drivers might not even have on their available content right now. They might not even have purchased it, especially with Twin Ring. I can tell you, if anybody's not familiar with Twin Ring, that they did have a couple of exhibition races out there back in the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around that timeline. I'm not placing that correctly. I might not be, but that it is, I think, a bigger, faster, meaner version of Gateway. It is a very difficult course. I'm really looking forward to that one. I always like the road courses, so that'll be fun. I think that 4th, 5th, 6th race of the season from COTA to Pocono, I think that's going to be a really interesting 3 weeks here for the series.
Yeah, I cannot wait just to see all the great racing that we have coming up here on Speed Racing Network. So if you like what you're seeing so far, and don't mind listening to Brandon and myself talk for a little while, because we got a lot to cover here starting off this season, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And that way you'll be notified anytime that we go live on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday nights. And check us out and give us a like, too, at the same time. It goes a long way.
Absolutely does. And, Tuesdays through Thursdays, you get all the racing you want here at night every week, except for next week because of that bye week with the drop or the build week that's going on there. So, but after we get back from that, it's going to be a long run Tuesday through Thursday. Just spend it here on YouTube with us.
Well, Brandon, we're about to be heading up these green flag pit stops any moment. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get a crank it up moment in. What do you think?
Absolutely. Crank it up, baby.
That never gets old doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun having these crank it up moments this season.
Oh, absolutely love that. And you know what? I think we're getting close to pit stops here very soon. And the reason I say that, look at those JW trucks. They all got lined up on that inside. We're getting pretty close to seeing them make their way down pit road by doing that. They did not want to be side by side or maybe even break up that team that they had by having to come in at separate laps. I think that's a sign that we're getting pretty close. But what it did do was let Joaquin Meza and the 27 truck, that's Vincent Cortez showing up as the 27 truck on screen, gave them the opening to start to power that outside line, maybe get ahead of them.
You had one job to do, Vincent Cortez, and that was to change your number in iRacing before entering the server, and you failed at that, but doing a great job at getting that 27 truck up to the front, really giving Joaquin Meza a really good push down the back stretch. So, if JW was trying to control that race, it's not able to do so anymore because these guys are now controlling the outside lane. And just as you say that, we see these guys coming down pit road together and the fifth one coming in just behind them. So all of JW Racing coming down pit road this time.
Yeah, it looks like JW Racing, and I believe that was Brad Herman, our defending champion, that made that move as well to go with them. So kind of going a little bit atypical. He might have been leading one of those side packs, though, that were running behind. Though everybody, for the most part, all still within one pack up until that pit stop.
Yeah, so now the leader on this race going to be Joaquin Meza, taking that over on lap 23 as all of JW Racing came down pit road this time. We'll see if we have any more takers as we come back around turns 3 and 4 and get to that pit entry. I have to imagine we're going to see a lot more trucks duck off and head down pit road.
We absolutely are. The driver chat really going crazy, and here we go. Let's see if they can make this work nice and clean. Ooh. They were good the first time, but about triple, quadruple the amount of trucks this time.
Oh, not sure who that is. That might be Sean Jensick there that came in a little hot. I think we might see him get a little bit of a penalty potentially. Might have a speeding penalty as he came in real hot. I don't think he got that thing slowed up in time.
He was either too hot or everybody else is way too conservative being worried about that one. Either way, that was a big boost for him moving by a few trucks. We'll see if he has to make his way back down for a drive-through penalty. But we are looking now at Vincent Cortez leading the way. It's going to be Zachary Burgesson behind him. And that's going to be Benjamin Park in the 8, his brother out there in the 6 as well, and Bruce Amston hanging on with this line as well.
Yeah, so we'll see if these guys decide to come down pit road this time. Looks like it's going to be that, as we see if they can slow down and get on there cleanly, as we see a few more trucks cycle in behind them here. Another big pack coming down pit road this time.
This looked like it's all tank guys and all JBR trucks that decided to come down there. It looked like about 15, so that would line up. So I think there's a little bit of partnerships that we're seeing here formed. And JW Racing pretty much all by themselves, though they do have our defending champion sitting there with them as he came in on that first lap with these guys. Maybe thinking that a lot more were going to be coming, but it was just this group of 6 on that first lap, and they're going to be in an interesting spot.
Yeah, you mentioned Brad Herman, last season's champion, up in tow behind these 5 JW trucks. So not a bad pack to be a part of. But yeah, last season's champion, 15 starts on his record last year as he joined a little bit late, but tallied up 3 wins and 9 top 5s and led 164 laps. 14% of the laps he ran, he led with 4 poles. So dominating performance last season and earned that championship in Atlanta.
And that was one of the names that we kind of kept our eye on, but I think we were looking at a couple of others when that regular season ended. You know, you saw Jonathan Byer, Landon Cardulo. They were so hot at the end of the regular season, but Brad Herman, once the playoffs came, he absolutely hit a switch, and we see that 14% laps led over those 15 races that he ran. It really, once you got to the playoffs in those 7 races, that number probably up closer to 25%. He was absolutely dominant when it came to those playoffs.
Yeah, not someone you want to just let get out to the front of this thing, as he can just take control and not let it go. So we'll see if he can pick up where he left off last year. Doing a good job so far as he's up to 6th now and doing a good job up 6 positions after starting at 12th. But right here, Ryan Johnson, then the 48, is going to be our big mover so far. Actually, nope, that's incorrect because he did not qualify. So the big mover, or the hard charger per se, going to be Raul Meza in this 37 truck back here. So he is bringing it home so far, up 27 positions and picking up a few more as we're talking about him.
You see on that Serve Pro truck on the side, it says like it never happened. Well, that starting position of 41st at the back of the grid, he's made that look like it never happened. He's all the way up into the top 10 now and possibly going to be leading this line, or this pack, which is really kind of sitting back about 7 seconds from that lead group. They're going to pick up Vincent Cortez here pretty soon because he's about 4 seconds in the middle here between these 2 packs. And once they catch them, if they can get single file, they might get a huge run by the time that they get around to catching these JW trucks and Brad Herman. And that might be one of those things that's needed to break up that line that JW set up.
Yeah, they have a huge lead on this big pack back here, sitting 8.5 seconds up on Mesa and steadily climbing, even with the help that he has behind him. Lucas Lyons doing a great job of pushing. But yeah, he's going to catch up to Vincent Cortez here in a couple of seconds as he is just bearing down on him. We'll see how Vincent Cortez handles getting back into this crowd of trucks that is just flying catching up to him.
Yeah, that's going to be the real interesting thing here for Vincent, and he might just be conservative, hold it up by the wall, let everybody go by, and just jump in at the back of this one. He kind of got, I don't know if he either didn't take tires and the rest of that group did, or if he just didn't take the full load of fuel, maybe kind of strategizing things. But either way, his pit stop was way faster than that rest of that group of 4 that he came in with, and it really set him off in a bad place there, being all by himself in between those 2 packs.
Really curious to see how this pack is just steadily losing time, maybe like 4 to 5 tenths a lap. It's just ticking right off. That is just to say how strong this front pack is with the pushing that they're going to do right now and how tight they're running. This top 6 or 7 doing a great job.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic of lining up very well. There's not a lot of snaking going along. And the other thing that they're doing pretty well, too, is you can see now as they've got Bobby Anderson back there as well in this pack, and they're just picking up one by one, just adding these trucks as they're putting them a lap down. They're kind of tagging onto the back of this, and this single file line of what's about to be 9 trucks is actually going to be building a lot more momentum going forward than that group that's got even more trucks, because they're going side by side and really kind of holding each other back, whether it be through the side drafting or just the way that the air is working. They're losing a lot of that momentum that they could be building.
Yeah, and the first car a lap down running with this pack, Sean Jensic, we mentioned him having a little bit of trouble coming on the pit road. Looks like he's got a big amount of damage on the left side of that truck. Not sure where that came from, but man, not sure if he hit somebody entering pits or not, but that is a significant amount of damage here at Daytona.
Yeah, and that's not going to help him too much when it comes to leading a pack. He should be all right in the draft, especially if he kind of skews over to the right a little bit. The air won't really hit that damage too much, but he's still going to get a little bit of that spoiler effect. But he can still be a good contributor to any single file line here, and really curious at this big run that Blair Holloman's got on the outside, as he's a lap down as well, trying to get that lap back, even though right now he would be in position for the lucky dog if a caution came out. Yeah,
so he's definitely racing Sean Jensic in this pack. The rest are lead lap cars with all of JW Racing, and then you got Brad Herman and Bobby Anderson rounding out the rest of this pack. And Joaquin Meza having a little – oh, wait, that's Raul Meza. Man, we got all sorts of the same names. I'm just having trouble figuring out who's who out there. But Raul Meza not losing as much time now, but still not gaining any time trying to catch up with these lead pack trucks.
And I kind of wonder if Blair Holloman's taking one for the team here by kind of sitting on the outside, doing a little bit of side drafting, pulling this line back a little bit. He might be trying to help some of his teammates that are in that second group, maybe try to slow this first line up and start to let that line reel it in a little bit. But that second pack, they got to get sorted single file if they want any shot of really doing some damage and catching this group.
Yeah, already over the halfway mark of this race, and we're going to be coming up on that window here soon to get these trucks to the end. Now, it's always best to kind of put some in the back pocket in case we do go to a green-white checker, so that's going to make these guys stay out a little bit longer. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy is played, who goes with who, and if these packs get broken up more, that's going to make it even harder for this field to catch up to these lead lap trucks.
And one of the forgotten things kind of in this is going to be that if we do stay green through that pit stop, you would kind of think, all right, that big group, they're going to generate more momentum if they can get single file, which they're going to have to be when they ride around on the apron and build up speed faster. But the problem that they're going to have is there's going to be so much more traffic getting into pit road. They're going to have to be a lot more cautious with everybody around them. This smaller pack of what's currently 9 trucks, they can easily make their way onto pit road and can do so much faster that it actually might be a bigger advantage to this smaller group for once than it is going to be the bigger group that can generate more momentum at the end of that pit stop.
Yeah, riding on board with our leader right now, Trevor Williams, making it look real smooth as he's just keeping it glued to that yellow stripe. He's got a lap truck here. I believe this is Daniel Park that he's catching up to. Going to have to probably work with him, and as you see him go up to the outside, knows he's not going to stand a chance, doesn't want to stack up the field or anything, but he's going to try his best to get in tow with the rest of this really fast pack that's leading this race. So going to be hard to see if that 06 or that 6 can stay with them, but he's going to need to if he wants any shot. Oh, as he gets into the wall up there.
That's not going to help that second pack at all, seeing him get up against the wall just that little bit, because what I was starting to think was he gets into this draft, suddenly you're looking at 10 trucks, 5 are JW Racing, 5 are not JW Racing, and if they can force this into a side-by-side style of racing that they'll have here going around Daytona, that might be the opening that second group needs. Because, I mean, and I say that that they want to welcome everybody else back up into this, but I think they know that they need some allies to break up this team.
Yeah, we're going to see if they can make that happen, but already down 11 seconds and steadily climbing, it's just going to make it harder for anybody to catch up. So this thing stays green, which is usually the words that we try not to say, as I kind of jinxed it yesterday. If this thing stays green, it definitely did. But JW is just going to run away with this thing and see another repeat performance of what we saw last night with Tank Racing, who took 1 through 5 in the Cup Series race. Looking like we might see the same thing happen again in the Truck Series race.
How about this on the outside line? You got our first 2 trucks 1 lap down, trying to be the ones that are really taking a chunk out of this and maybe unlap themselves naturally on the track just in case that caution does come out. Then they both get back up there. They don't have to worry about the lucky dog or anything like that. But I would imagine that if a caution comes out, it's not going to be in this group, but that second group getting a little bit racy still, and you can tell that by the fact that they're still losing about a quarter to a third of a second every lap.
Well, I mean, you see where it goes to hashtag go faster. Once we get to 25 to go, that's exactly what Blair Holloman and Sean Jensick have on their mind. They want to go faster and get back to the front of this thing and do it how they got to do it, because, I mean, realistically, Blair was already stuck up there and unable to get in with these inside line cars. And Sean Jensick doesn't have a choice. He's going to be the odd man out if a caution does come out, because that lucky dog is going to go to Blair Holloman. So he's got to push here, and I'm really surprised to see that 6, if he's able to catch back up to Bobby Anderson and get a good run, maybe he'll get up there and try and help these guys get pushed to the front, because all these guys need to do it themselves except for Blair Holloman.
And it kind of looks like the 6 was looking at it, maybe thinking if he can get that pole, but I think he's a little bit too far back right now. He's got to stay behind Bobby Anderson. But I'm really impressed by Holloman and Jensick. And, oh, by the way, Championship 5 drivers from a year ago, or a season ago, they're trying to unlap themselves here in the season opening race at Daytona in Season 3. So a big storyline early here in this one, as they currently make up the back of the field. But they're doing a fantastic job, just 2 of them, really holding pace with that group of 5 here from JW Racing.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sean Jensick there in that 29-year-old Ford F-150. He's qualified for the iRacing College Series and came home second last week. I was watching the man while I was out in Vegas. I was so proud of him, but came home second, almost brought it home with a dub for his school or University of Rhode Island. But, man, second out of that talented pool of drivers is nothing to be ashamed of at all.
No, that was an incredible performance that he put on out there, and really made a name for himself. Had his name mentioned quite a few times on that broadcast, even though I don't think he ever got to do that interview. I'm not sure what happened there, but he did have a fantastic run in the meantime. Hopefully we can see him do a whole lot more through that series as well. Yeah,
he said he had a few mic issues that he couldn't get hashed out, but nonetheless still brought it home in second. Everybody saw his big comeback after being involved in that wreck there late in the race. But, yeah, doing it the hard way, trying to get that lap back. Right now, technically would have it with Blair Holloman being out in front of the leaders right now by just a half a truck. So right now, if something were to happen, Sean Jensick would be a very, very lucky man. Still trying just to do it himself, as he is now starting to get a little bit of an edge. Curious to see if Blair Holloman is going to cut off that inside lane. But as I say, that big momentum from that inside line of JW Racing trucks.
And I think we couldn't quite tell from that angle, but I think either Brad Herman or Bobby Anderson was starting to peek to the outside as well, seeing how well that tandem's doing up high, because we saw a couple of the, I think it was the 45 and the 48, each moved up trying to block that possible run. So that's what I'm thinking might have happened. I couldn't see that for sure, but that would be that tell, because that's the first time they really broke rank for the first time in quite some time.
Yeah, this is not what JW Racing wants. They don't want 2 lap trucks that are determined to get their laps back there on the outside lane, because, yeah, you said it, Brad Herman could be very well enticed to go out there and try and help them. That's going to help him as well at the same time and probably put him up in second, maybe first with where these two trucks are running and maybe get them out to the lead with 3 trucks out there on the outside lane. We've seen these guys do really well with just 2 trucks. Who knows what they could do with 3 or 4? So it's something to keep an eye on as we reach the 20 lap to go mark in this race. Going to probably see some sort of pit stops here shortly to get this thing to the end, as a lot of guys pitted on lap 23 and 24. So they probably have 3 or 4, maybe 5 more laps before they decide to come down.
Not even that, I think. And there they go, the JW Racing trucks onto pit road. Brad Herman and Bobby Anderson going to go with them. And it came at a time as they were starting to lose a little bit of time, pretty significant time actually, to this second pack, who was about 0.6 of a second faster over the past lap and a half.
Yeah, it seemed like once Troy Techmeyer got out in front with Lucas Lyons, they started catching that pack a little bit again. But still, like you said, not going to want to be doing very much side-by-side racing right now, even though that's exactly what we see. You would think this is the lead pack with all the side-by-side racing happening right now, but that's kind of costing them time here as they're trying to close that 11-second gap. So be curious to see if maybe they have made their bed and maybe want to stay out as long as they can to put those JW trucks in a bad spot, maybe try and get some track position. But as I said that last time, they came down and pitted for JW, so we'll see if they come down this time with 19 to go.
Yeah, and hearing some chatter that at least a few of these trucks are going to make their way through. And I would almost say take the natural lineup that they have, and that's actually what they're doing. The trucks that were on the inside making their way to pit road, for the most part, the trucks on the outside all staying out there. That's going to reduce the amount of traffic getting onto pit road and actually going to maximize the amount of pace that they can have, where they're not going to have to check up even more and be super conservative looking out for all the 20 trucks that are in this pack. Now they're kind of whittled it down to a group of 8 and maybe a group of 12.
Yeah, we've got Rev Racing working really well together out there. That 3 truck, I forgot to update this graphic, is also in this pack of Rev Racing trucks. So 4 trucks controlling the outside lane in this big pack that's trying to run them down, led by Sean Kosher and Nathan Nixon there in the 98. Michael Madden there, the 3rd car in line, and then followed by his brother Cody Madden there in the 3. So kind of seeing a mirror image here of what we're seeing up front with JW Racing. Just seems to be working a lot better for those JW trucks.
Yeah, they had that head start getting out front early and being able to make that work. And then once those green flag pit stops, this race really running so much like a mirror image to what we saw last night in the Cup side with Tank, where they kind of got out front. We got those green flag pit stops, and it really broke this pack up. It's doing it a little bit less here when it comes to outside of that first pack. We got a big group here this time in the truck race. The Cup side, it was kind of those mini packs of 7-8 cars. Here, the second pack kind of got bogged down because they had so many in it, and they were stuck side by side.
Well, Brandon, we need to take a moment and run some commercial breaks. I thought, like yesterday, I was going to have some time to run them during yellow flags, but right now proving me wrong. So let's go ahead and take a couple minutes to run a few programs here and pay some bills here at SRN.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
The Butt Kicker Gamer 2. What you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, you guys did not miss one thing. These guys still haven't pitted with 14 laps to go. Troy Techmeyer still controlling this field and seeming like they're doing exactly what I said, just going to try and catch a lucky break with a yellow flag potentially and maybe get them some track positions. But right now, not looking like as we're still green with 13 to go.
Well, the problem for them is if they're waiting on a caution, they're the most likely group to bring out that caution because everybody else, single file, they've been the ones getting a little squirrely with this side-by-side racing, especially catching some lap traffic during the commercial break. Saw some dicey moments there, so if they're waiting on that caution, they just got to hope it somehow pops up elsewhere on the track, but they might be the leading contenders to bring it out themselves.
Yeah, but doing a great job with this side-by-side racing. Really good action-packed racing back here, led by Troy Techmeyer. Vincent Cortez there in the 27 truck just behind him. And then Zachary Burgesson as we see them start to peel off pit road. And looks like they're all going to get on board cleanly there, but Troy Techmeyer still opting to stay out. Oh, someone's wrecking back there.
Oh, wrecking on pit road for sure. A couple trucks involved in that one. Not quite sure who that was from the angle that we got. The 75 of Jacob Zala caught up in that. Also looks like it's going to be the 63 of Bruce Amston. There he is. Damage to both trucks. Nothing too crazy, but a caution out on the racetrack.
Oh, boy. A lot happening here. Let's see if we can get exactly what happened. Looks like Nathan Nixon was involved here.
Sean Kozier, Nathan Nixon, and Michael Madden. And Madden just got a big run and made some contact and a huge collision out of turn 2. And Troy Techmeyer caught up in that one. Michael Madden getting a heavy hit. Nathan Nixon, heavy contact. A couple others involved. Weren't quite sure who those were, as that's a tough truck to read the numbers on, and the purple one there. But heavy impact for several drivers. And like we were talking about, they're hoping for that caution. They just had to hope it wasn't them, and unfortunately, it was them.
Yeah, I believe that was the 54 of Jason Kratke potentially here. Let's see if we can get an onboard camera. There we go. This is from Jason Kratke's perspective. Yeah, just the push into turns from Michael Madden gets Nathan Nixon, and just nowhere for Techmeyer and Kratke to go. So unfortunate break for them. And that's exactly what you said. It's possibly going to be this pack that was running back here. And that's what it was.
They were the most likely just from the style of racing that they had, and that's absolutely nothing wrong on anybody's side there. We saw it in the Daytona 500 in real life, that run that Kyle Larson got that caused that wreck near the end of the race. Sometimes you just get so much of a run and you have nowhere to go by the time you can react, and that just led to Michael Madden getting into the back at the wrong angle there in the middle of that turn on Nathan Nixon and just took out 5 trucks that were all hopeful for a possible really good finish here.
Yeah,
we get ready to go, 10 laps to go.
Yeah, the leader, Sean Kozier, was the time when that flag came out, going to come down pit road to get his last bit of service and get him to the end of the race. But unfortunately for him, he's going to lose a lot of teammates in the process and be left out to dry almost.
And you're going to want teammates because look who's going to cycle back through all the way up to the front. It's going to be a lot of those JW Racing trucks. Also, Brad Herman and Bobby Anderson are going to be moving up into the top 5 as well. But you can see all 5 of those JW Racing trucks will comprise in the top 7. As you see there on the bottom, Race Control deeming that the penalty will go to the 15 of Michael Madden. He will be dropped to the end of the line under the caused caution rule. And we say that that's a racing thing. You can't really help it sometimes, but we do still have that caused caution rule. If you're going to put fault on anybody, it would be the 15.
Yeah, well, it's not going to really hurt him too much. The big damage of all that going to be to his truck. He got some big-time damage after getting involved with the 98 there. And his race is going to be really tough to come back from after having that damage and now getting the penalty assessed from Race Control as well. But there you see it, the leader going to be Lane Doyle, followed by Nick Halda in the 49 machine. Trevor Williams just behind him in the 46, but not all 5 of them up here. Brad Herman going to be the next one in line, last season's champion, and then Bobby Anderson splitting up some of these JW trucks. Dean Gagliano going to be the next one in line. It's going to be 6th place, followed by his teammate Ryan Johnson, and then Lucas Lyons in 8th place. Sean Kosher coming out in 9th, with Jose Castellanos going to round out the top 10.
I'll tell you what, I'll be a little bit of a homer here on this one with the Striker guys. I'm seeing a lot of Striker trucks being up here in the mix, and they might be able to put something together to rival that JW side, because you do have Jose Castellanos in 10th, you have Lucas Lyons in 8th, Brad Herman in 4th, Travis Trevelyan in 11th, Andrew Harris in 12th, all 5 of their drivers sitting inside the top 12, so we might have some team battles going on here, and that could go a long, long way with the strategy that JW Racing has had, though they will be controlling each of those 2 lines once we get going here, as they'll have top 2 trucks on that front row.
Yeah, very interesting stat that you just pointed out. I didn't even notice that we have 5 Striker trucks in the top 12 as 5 JW Racing trucks also in the top 12. So, wow, like we have the team championship here in Speed Racing Network. It's going to be a team battle here to the end, and I can't wait to see how it shakes up once we take the green with 8 to go. So it's going to be a good one, Brandon, but so far your pick leading the way in that 47 machine.
Man, it's still a long way to go here, though, as we'll have 8 laps to go taking the line. One thing I did want to touch on, by the way, Daniel Park, Sean Jensick, Blair Holloman, all back on the lead lap. We were following them in that group of that top 7 group a few laps ago, trying to fight and get their lap back. They were successful in that here as we get ready to go for this, hopefully, final restart.
Yeah, we're going to see, but I have to imagine it won't be, as we got, like you said, a long way to go and a lot of hungry drivers that want to get that first win of the season, potentially the first win of their career here at SRN. A lot of new names up here. We saw a first-time winner crowned last night with Devin Zimmerman for Tank Racing. Will we see another first-time winner here tonight? We're going to have to stay tuned and find out, because we are back under green flag conditions. It's the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag. If you're looking to save some green, head over to Silverback Tax Solutions.
Well, on that first stint of green flag racing, or before the first pit stop, I was talking about Andrew Harris and a couple of other guys being a little bit patient, thinking about how they could break up this JW Racing pack, but not really putting their trucks at risk. 8 laps to go. Time to put those trucks in a little bit more risk now. We're going to see the aggression levels build here. And there they go, 3 wide to the front. Brad Herman going to try to break this up naturally by using that wall line.
Yeah, those 2 trucks of JW Racing almost got into each other there, and that kind of gave some big-time momentum to the 1885, but kind of stalling out a little bit, and that's only going to help the 45 catch up back to his teammates here. And now we got 3 JW trucks on the outside, too, controlling the front row as well.
Here come the reinforcements, though, on that very high line. You can see them starting to build up on that very 3rd line out by the wall, and that might be enough here, because I don't think those JW Racing trucks at this point want to go 3 wide with their team trucks, because that's just inviting problems. If one thing goes wrong, you take out the entire team, and that outside line might have some numbers now, and they might have the strength to pull out here in front.
Oh, man, we're going to have 3 wide racing all the way to the end. I cannot wait to see what happens. But so far, Nick Halda going to control this race out in front, getting a big push from his teammate there in the 48 of Ryan Johnson. But as I say that, Lane Doyle gets another big push from the 46 of Trevor Williams. Ow, wow, 85 gets really close there, but stays off of him as he stays up high running that 3rd lane.
Man, seeing a lot of snaking going on in that middle line. That's going to be something to keep an eye on here if you're sitting in that backpack. And in fact, I've seen a few of these trucks that are about 15th on back. They're kind of dropping a little bit. They might be sensing that something big is about to happen.
There it goes. Wow, Lucas Lyons just got a little bit loose. And just no room for that to happen, and just a little bit will end your night. That's a big one here at Daytona.
Man, barrel rolling into the outside wall, and just as we were saying, you kind of had that vibe that something was about to break. It broke in a big way. The 45 dropping down just that little bit at the same time that Lucas Lyons was drifting up at the beginning of that turn, and that just led to chaos. About 10 trucks caught up. Bobby Anderson involved. Saw Raul Meza caught up in this one. Just a lot of good trucks that were contenders here near the end of this race, all wrapped up.
Yeah, he just gets a little bit out of shape, gets a little bit of the 45 truck, and that is all it takes to get this thing loose and out of control. And then at that point, nowhere but upside down to go for the 7 truck of Lucas Lyons.
Man, wild ride there for the 7 truck as looking at a few more of these guys caught up. You see Mike Mosby there, saw Cody Madden caught up in this one as well. A couple of others I wasn't able to quite see who they were, but a big amount of trucks here. It's the one. Joseph DuPont caught up in this one. Travis Trevelyan somehow making his way through that. And we're right on board with Mike Mosby. Almost. He went for the, I'll just stop on the racetrack, and he still got a little bit of damage in that one, but not too much.
Yeah, he should be able to get that cleaned up and still going, but a lot of these guys' nights are going to be over with that big-time wreck here at Daytona International Speedway. And Brandon, look at that. All 5 JW Racing trucks now controlling this field.
That is going to be a very daunting task for anybody else to overcome. As you see there on the bottom, the race control ruling, it's a net code. And we did kind of see that little bit of gap there, still on the 7 and the 45. So I definitely can see net code being that. So no penalties issued as a result of that incident.
You know, Uncle Netcode stayed away from us last night, but Brandon just couldn't stay away for too long. Already showing up here in the first race of the season for the Truck Series. A tough break for a lot of those guys, but that is something that we deal with a lot here on the iRacing server.
Yeah, we had Uncle Netcode tonight. Last night, I guess it would be Cousin Blinky that showed up on that one caution that we had, with the one car kind of blinking in and out there and getting caught up in that one. But I think the big story here is we get ready to go racing with what's going to be 2 laps to go, it looks like. So a natural green-white checker, that won't be an overtime if we do that, is going to be how will anybody break up what's going to be 2x2 plus a third row with one car or one truck from JW Racing, all leading the way. There's going to have to be some aggressive moves to try to break up that top 5.
Well, before we get to that, let's take this opportunity as we're under yellow to take another quick commercial break, so we will be right back.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you. All right, thanks to all of our partners this year for coming on board for this exciting Season 3 that we are going to have. Already kicking it off with a bang in the Cup Series and doing the same here tonight in the Truck Series, Brandon. It's about to be a green-white checker here to the finish. You think it's just one, or are we going to have multiple attempts at this?
Oh, I think there's going to be another one coming here, because I think you're going to have to see some super aggressive moves. If you're going to try to break up that pack of 5 that's leading the way, I think we might see something big happen here pretty soon. I hope I'm wrong, though.
Yep, Silverback Tax Solutions, green flag out in the air here at Daytona. See if we can get this thing to the end. If not, we'll be waving it some more before the end of this one.
It's going to take 3 wide, but you're going to have to get a lot of trucks kind of lining up here to make that run happen. And at this point, these JW trucks, they might be thinking, all right, now the time is coming to put themselves 3 wide and block any possible line for anybody else to make a move. Big move to the outside by Brad Herman. He's got a little bit of help, and he's got a nose out in front of that right front, or the right rear fender there. So he's got enough to block off any 3 wide attempt.
Yeah, a couple of Stryker Motorsports trucks there on the outside. Brad Herman, Jose Castellanos, and Andrew Harris all trying to work together to break up this JW train up front. Doing a good job so far as we're coming back to the stripe to take the white flag. It's in the air as the JW trucks are bouncing off of one another.
It is a team battle. 3 teams now in the picture as we got Jonathan Byer Racing with 3 trucks now trying to close in on this lead pack. 3 wide through 1 and 2, and it is getting squirrely, but they're still holding it together.
Oh, yeah, they get turned. Jose Castellanos goes, and Brad Herman left all on his own. A big wreck back there as all the JBR trucks are involved, too. It's going to be really hard for the 85 to break this up, but he is still in contention as we hit down to turn 3.
Now he's got to make a big move, and he's got to make it happen at the last possible second to possibly sneak up on these guys. And that lap truck on the high line, that's Bobby Anderson. That might have cut a lot of opportunity there for Brad Herman. It's going to be side-by-side, 2x2 for JW Racing.
Well, who's going to win it for JW as Nick Hada and Lane Doyle are heading to the stripe? It's going to be Lane Doyle in the 47 machine. He is your winner here tonight at Speed Racing Network at Daytona.
Top 5 in Duel 1, top 5 in Duel 2, and follows it up with a race win in the TJ's team. Winning moment for Lane Doyle. First SRN start officially, first SRN victory for him, and JW Racing taking the top 4 spots here in Daytona.
Yeah, it is a great night to be a JW Racing truck because they absolutely dominated and paid off at the end with one of them coming home with the win. They knew not all of them could come home with the win, but it still means just as much to these guys to see a rookie come in here and just flex his muscle early on. Like you said, this is the TJ's team winning moment of the race.
Nice little slider there in the grass for the 47 of Lane Doyle, and unbelievable week that he's put together going back to the duels, going to tonight. It's just proving that this team strategy so hard to break up, and I got to kind of have a little bit of a hand in breaking that up along with Tyler Murray mostly on the Xfinity side in the duel. We might be facing a challenge to try to replicate that because we're seeing team strategy going a long way here in these longer races this week than we saw in the duels.
Yeah, he is having a great time. It's a great feeling when you win in such a dominating league like SRN and doing it in your first race. We saw it last year too with a newcomer. Sean Jensick was our Daytona winner last year for Rev Racing. He ended up going all the way to the final 5 and winning 3 races at the same time. Could be seeing another mirror image of that with Lane Doyle. First race of the season for this whole team at JW Racing. And Brandon, we saw firsthand what they did in the Xfinity Series last year. I think that these truck guys are going to be taking note.
Absolutely. They came on strong and once they joined the league about 5 weeks in. And you mentioned Sean Jensick getting 3 wins going to the Championship 5 after winning in his first start last season. How about Season 1 in the Truck Series? It was Michael Madden winning in his first start. He went to the Championship 5, and if I'm counting right, I think he also had 3 wins over the course of the season. We might be seeing a lot of repetition here from these rookies in the Truck Series that win a day in the first race of the season.
Yeah, that's a wild stat that I didn't even consider, but you're exactly right. So looking forward to seeing what Nick Halda can do with this win and the momentum and kind of just monkey off the back, right off the bat. He is going to be stress-free as he's got a good cushion heading towards that Week 12 cutoff line. So let's go ahead now and take a moment to see the race results here tonight. And like we said, Lane Doyle going to be your winner here tonight by 2/100ths of a second over Nick Halda. It was a great race to the start-finish line. Trevor Williams going to come home in third. Ryan Johnson going to be in fourth. And Brad Herman going to be in the top 5 as well.
In sixth place, Landon Cardulo, another one of the Championship 5 drivers, as we've been talking about all night, sitting there in the 6th position. Cody Madden was caught up in that big wreck near the end that brought out that final caution, but still winds up in the 7th position. Sean Kozier will be in 8th, also for Revved Racing. Tank Racing's leading driver going to be Zachary Burgesson. Rounding out the top 10, Dark Tank Racing's Kyle Lingerfeld.
Yeah, Sean Jensick going to come home in 11th after being a lap down, battling with the leaders to get his lap back. Gets all the way back up to 11th. Austin Purnell going to come home in 12th. Jonathan Byer, who was leading that charge late, comes home in 13th. Rob Yost Jr., a solid 14th place finish. And Travis Trevelyan going to bring it home in 15th.
16th place will be Joaquin Meza out of running that 92 truck. Ben Park, it will be in 17th. AJ Pritchett will bring it home in 18th place. Joshua Land Fox will be in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 will be Josh Mueller.
Well, there is your top 20. Let's go ahead and see if we can find these JW Racing guys and get them up here in the booth. A lot of guys in these discords. Here's Trevor Williams. Let's go ahead and move him on up. Trevor, it's going to be Greg Olenek and Brandon Domain up here in the booth. Coming home third tonight, picking up 11 positions. Congrats on the podium finish here, and congrats on a great night for JW Racing. How does it feel to kick this season off with a bang?
Thank you guys, man. It feels awesome. It was just, what a team effort.
Yeah, and that team effort, I mean, it showed that it was difficult to break up last night in the Cup race, also showing here tonight. Once you guys got up in front, it just looked like the whole strategy, just control both lines as best as possible. But my bigger question, near the end, we started seeing those 3 wide attacks that were starting to happen. How big of a threat was that, or was it just too much? Had that line really kind of breaking apart there with that late push?
You know, we found out we did the same thing in the second duel race last week, and we found out that top, you know, the third lane up there is just so hard to get a run. If you can, you know, as long as you protect the bottom and middle lane, you're golden, because they just can't get a good enough run to get you off the corner.
Well, you guys definitely took some notes in those dual races, and it paid off here tonight. But before we let you go back down and celebrate with the team on a great night, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Oh, yeah, we got lots of people helping us for this season. JW Racing, of course, and Rogue Energy is our big sponsor all over the trucks, beautiful trucks. Maxon Industries, Merritt Mechanical, Rufus Sport MMA, and Saloon Door Sports help us out. And just want to give a shout out to my mom and dad watching. There you go.
Well, I'm sure they're excited as ever to see you come home in third, and looking forward to seeing what you can do here this season. So we'll see you in 2 weeks in Phoenix, but have a good night and have fun celebrating with the team, bud.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, well, that was Trevor Williams coming home in third. Let's go ahead and track down Nick Halda, see if we can get him up here. I'm not seeing him in – oh, there he is. He's in the waiting room. Wow, not used to that. Congratulations on that, too. Nick, it's Greg Olenek and Brandon Domain up here in the booth. Was having trouble finding you. I'm not used to people in the waiting room, so appreciate you doing that. Congrats on the runner-up finish, man, and like I said to your teammate Trevor, congrats on a great night for JW Racing all around. How does it feel to come home in second to kick off the season here at Speed Racing Network?
I mean, it feels great to come in second, and then to have the, like you said, the finish that our team did, JW Racing, had today. It's makes it 10 times better. Rule number 1 of racing: don't wreck your teammate. I saw the run coming down. I saw he drop back a little bit and got a good push, but yeah, we were going to get 10 right there. So no reason to do anything crazy at the end.
Well, and really, I mean, that race stays green. It's really down to U5 and then maybe 2 other trucks the rest of the way. When that caution came out, how did the strategy conversation go at that point? Was there any kind of change to any plans, or was it still just stick to the same thing that was working?
Well, we were pretty sure that once the caution came out, once the pit cycled through, that we'd still be running, 1, 2, 3, 4 there and can control the front. That was really the goal, just stay in line, control the front, force everybody to the outside, and as long as we stayed tight and stayed together, we didn't think it. We knew the outside was fastest line, but that top line, as long as we stayed nose to tail, we thought we could fend everybody off.
Well, you guys certainly did a great job of doing just that. But before we let you go, Nick, and send you back down to your team to have fun celebrating a great run, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Of course, yeah, a lot of people to thank here. First, the most important, my wife probably for letting me do this, taking care of my son while I'm doing this at night. My teammates, Lane, Ryan, Trevor, Dean, all did a great job running together, talking, working the strategy. Team owner Justin right out on our, talking to us the whole night, keeping us going. Like you said, we were the team to beat, I think, the whole night. Obviously, my spotter, Matt Robinson, did a great job, especially when we were 3 wide, telling me, where I had room, where I didn't. Our sponsors, Maxon Industries, Marg Mechanical, Rufus Sport MMA, Saloon Door Sports, and Rogue Energy. It's a great energy drink. Got me to second place tonight. And you can go to their website, rogueenergy.com. Use promo code JW Race and get a nice discount. Everybody should check that out.
Well, there you go. Got a little prize for everybody out in the audience watching as well. But we congratulate you on your runner-up finish, man. Have fun celebrating with the team and the family, and we look forward to seeing what you can do in 2 weeks out in Phoenix.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Nick Halda coming home in second place. But, Brandon, we got a first-time winner to talk to. Lane Doyle, it's Greg Olenek and Brandon Domain up here in the booth. Congratulations on coming out and flexing some serious muscle, getting that first win of the season in your first race here at SRN. How you feeling, man?
Loving life right now. Oh, boy. That couldn't have worked out any better than what we wanted. That was our plan from the beginning.
Well, yeah, and that plan definitely worked out 1,000%. And I got to tell you, you've kind of continuing a little bit of a precedent and setting one. I did pick you tonight, so you kind of broke the broadcast curse here this week in Daytona. But the other part, too, is the last couple seasons in the truck race, we had a rookie win their first race. They wind up winning multiple races, going to the Championship 5. You're sitting in some pretty good company here, starting the season off with a win.
I'm liking my odds from what I'm hearing. Oh, boy.
Well, you say that, but we're heading out to Phoenix in 2 weeks. What do we expect to see from that 47 truck as we go to a little bit of a different circuit than Daytona International Speedway?
Well, I love Phoenix. I love short tracks in general, and Phoenix is one of my better ones, so I hope I can continue. I can start a streak here, maybe.
Hey, well, we're going to be watching here in a couple weeks, but before we get to that and let you go celebrate with your teammates and your family and all your friends, you got any family, friends, and sponsors you want to give a shout-out to?
I'll start off with our sponsors. Rogue Energy just got on board, and they have been fantastic to work with, as well as Maxon Industries, Martin Mechanics, Roof Sport, MMA, and Saloon Door Sports. They've been great partners. We've had some of them on for other leagues, but I'm excited for what they're going to do this year in this league. It's starting off great for our team.
Yeah, well.
And as for family, last night we lost one of our family members, so it's fantastic that I'm able to come out here and get a win. I love everyone in my family. I love all my friends, and I'm thankful they're still here.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you can do, man, and congratulations on coming home with the first win of the season, getting that monkey off your back, and we look forward to seeing what you can do for these next 20 weeks. So go have fun celebrating with the friends, family, and teammates, and we'll see you in Phoenix, bud.
All right, thank you.
Well, there you have it, Brandon. That was our TJ's team winning moment. Go ahead and check them out at morethanAcape.org. And like you said, even just checking them out and seeing what they're about can go a long way. But if you feel like you want to go ahead and donate, do not hesitate. It will go a long way.
Yeah, that's a great organization doing a lot for families that are in some need there. And they, like we said, if you can donate, great. If you just want to know a little bit more about them and maybe just tell other people, be a friend, tell a friend, that kind of thing, please go to morethancape.org.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here tonight at Daytona. Brandon, you're getting out there tomorrow for the Xfinity Series race. So everybody, please come back again and check us out tomorrow at the same time. We'll be kicking the broadcast off at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Brandon, are you excited to finally kick off the season in the Xfinity Series? You don't have to worry about me this year.
Don't have to worry about you out there, but I got a whole lot of people I got to be worried about as well. Trying not to be 1 point short of the playoffs again this season, but really liking how things are lining up for the team and myself here based on the duels. A couple good runs. Hopefully we can finish them off this time, though. Maybe get a top 5, maybe park that thing in victory lane tomorrow night.
Oh, hey, you've seen what the last 2 races have done. You get that team up front, you guys can certainly dominate this thing. But I appreciate you, as always, for stopping by. And that's going to do it for us here at SRN. So for myself, Greg Olenek, and Brandon Domain, we wish you guys a good night. And remember to go faster.